Want 3 great small business marketing ideas with examples that don't rely on social media? Everyone always wants to know, what options do we have to get some marketing that doesn't rely on social media stuff? If that is your big claim to fame, marketing on $0 to $500 a month without it being social media heavy, what do we do? Let's talk about 3 of my favorite tactics that can be fairly universal and get you to go well beyond just social media. First one, write a book. Now, before you check out, this doesn't necessarily have to be a big, long book, right? We don't have to talk about, 150 pages and craziness. That's fine. You don't have to go all out like that. You want to, you can, but you don't have to. I chatted with a couple the other day whose message is basically, hey, we get that you're moving to this area. We're going to help you get integrated to this area, which is fantastic. I told them basically, why don't you write the tour guide for people who are moving to your area? Doesn't have to be big and long, make it 10 pages long, but 10 things I wish I knew about XYZ area before I moved here. A few things that I think are really important to understand if you want this tactic to be actually effective for you. If you're going to write a book, make sure you're going to write an actual book. These little, PDF ebook things, those are really only getting distributed through social media. So you're not really getting beyond your social media if you've got that. So do yourself a favor and get an actual physical book, something people are actually going to want to get their hands on. Now, this could be, a 10-page pamphlet that you put out at various shops around town. This could be an actual physical copy of your book. This is actually something that when I have someone who's talking with me about booking me as a speaker for one of their upcoming events, I'll actually send them a copy of this book so they can see kind of what I'm going to talk about as a marketer. But one of the really important things that we kind of lose sight of sometimes is that you have to make sure, 1, yes, it's quality, but 2, that it represents your message. So take a couple of minutes to figure out what is your marketing message and how are you going to show, don't tell that through your book. For example, my messaging is all about how you have to be creative with your marketing, right? So me turning out a book that looks like pretty much everyone else's books out there, probably not going to go very far. However, if I put out a book that is basically choose your own adventure, that's completely different from pretty much every other marketing book on the market right now, that definitely reinforces my messaging that we have to get creative in order to be effective. Now, I will shoot straight with y'all. This one typically does require a little bit of money in terms of design and in terms of print. Now, that can really vary based on how big your book is. My book took a little bit more because it was a bigger book and there was a lot more design going on, but smaller books don't necessarily have to get that complicated in terms of either design or print, but you do want to make sure that they are really well put together and quality. Number 2, swag. Now, you don't have to go as crazy and all out as we do with the Grow Disrupt swag for our events. However, finding some swag, something that speaks to your audience and that really represents your message, can go a long ways when you're going to networking events. It can go a long ways when you're doing mailers. It can go even a long ways with social media, just posting pictures of it and seeing people engage. For example, we've discovered that our target market for Grow Disrupt really loves stickers. Not fully sure why, but as someone with ADHD, I do know that I love the tactile feel of them. However, we've discovered they love stickers. So we found that putting together cool stickers, now it does have to be a cool sticker, a good design that represents the messaging, but we put together stickers, we send them out, and we have frequently found people will post about it, talk about it, and share it with their friends, their family. We get so many videos from people getting their stickers and posting them because we stuck a sticker in a 50-cent envelope and mailed it to them. Additionally, last year when we got our custom coffee blend created for Grow Disrupt, we went crazy. Everyone was freaking out about this coffee blend that just absolutely blew us away. This wasn't even intended to be a marketing tool, but it ended up just being a piece of swag for the bags that became a really cool marketing tool because everyone was talking about it. People were talking about it on the emails we were sending. People were talking about it on social media. People were talking about it in real life as well. And again, I got a little packet that I could send to people who were interested in coming to our events and saying, hey, you know what? I wanted to give you a taste of what it's going to be like to join us live. The key is that you will need to find something that your audience loves, for example, coffee for entrepreneurs or stickers for people with ADHD, and then find a way to distribute it in a way that they will fall in love with as well. Whether that is mailing it to them, whether that is putting those out at, local places that allow you to put out swag, I don't really care, but that is going to be one of the best ways if you find a good piece of swag that speaks to your target market to really reinforce your message. And my 3rd favorite tactic is, of course, press. Now, this is pretty much everyone's favorite tactic. Who doesn't love getting to go on TV for free? There are actually a lot of ways that you can tackle PR, and there's a lot of different benefits depending on how you want to tackle it. For example, podcasts can be great ways to build backlinks. They can also be great ways to just get some attention. And depending on how big the audience is for that podcast, you can actually get attention for yourself, for your business, by appearing on the podcast. Speaking gigs. when you are doing them well, when you're delivering well, when you have great content, you have a great giveaway to collect leads, they can be phenomenal lead generation sources. Now, these do require that you put in time and effort to reach out to places, to get on their stages. It probably is going to require you to actually have a plan for what you want to talk about, and maybe some marketing assets like a video of you on stage, or even just talking to the camera about what you're going to talk about, or some flyers to send out, just something like a one sheet that is going to help people feel confident in booking you to speak to their group. Local PR is another one of my favorite ways to get press, and this is literally just building a list of your local individuals, like journalists and anchors in your area, and just like building a list of them and then sending them ideas for stories every so often, and making sure they know who you are and what your areas of expertise are, so when they have a story that they can call on you to be a guest expert for, they know that you are the person to call on. And of course, there are lots of ways to find queries online too. You get journalists and anchors all the time who send out general requests for experts. These can be through websites, these can happen through social media. You just have to like actually pay attention. So do yourself a favor. The landscape is shifting very rapidly here, so maybe run some searches for where to find press queries and find a few places that you really like, stay plugged in with them, and you'll find that you can send out, a handful of pitches and get picked up 3 or 4 times. 1, to build backlinks, 2, to build notoriety or to build up the strength of your brand, and 3, to actually get yourself in front of someone else's audience. So obviously not all of these tactics are going to be absolutely free to execute on. They all require at least some kind of investment, whether that is time or money or both, but they can be done for relatively efficiently on both sides. The key to all of these, though, is going to be getting creative. You can put signs up in your windows and have them be effective if you are creative with it. The framework to being creative is knowing the details about your target market so that you know who you're trying to get this message in front of, and secondarily, knowing your marketing message so you know what you're trying to communicate, so you can reinforce that message all the way through every single thing that you do.